You are blocked from the normal life because your calling is higher, because your purpose is bigger. That's why you're constantly dissatisfied. That's why you're all the time unfulfilled. It is not because you are not grateful. Stop listening to people telling you, just be happy with what you have. You might be happy with what you have. You might be already grateful with all thankful heart. But you know you need more. You need it for some reason. You have those desires in your heart, deep inside of you, screaming every single day that you should just go for more. And the longer you're gonna hesitate from listening to it, the longer you're gonna keep shaming yourself for wanting more instead of listening to this inner voice as your inner guidance, as your inner compass that is literally guiding you where your purpose is, where you're supposed to be in this timeline, the longer it's gonna take and the more frustrating this journey gonna get. Hello, it is Marta. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and to my podcast if you're listening to me on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. If you're new here, go and subscribe because we yap here all about confidence, manifestation, and becoming baddest version of yourself. Shame is the lowest frequency you could possibly ever experience. It is not facing what you really want, what you truly are, and who you are. Shaming is all about not facing what your desires really are, not accepting your feelings, not honoring your needs. It is something that tells you you shouldn't want more, you shouldn't go for your dreams, you shouldn't want to be abundant, while abundance is the natural stage of being. Look at all of the nature around, look at all of those beautiful trees and flowers, how abundant they are, how quickly they are growing, they are reaching the sky, and you are meant to do the same. You are meant to go for your biggest and wildest dreams. But the longer you're gonna keep shaming yourself and telling yourself that you should just settle, you should just be like happy with whatever, the longer it's gonna take. If you are someone who always had those bigger dreams, who had those bigger desires, if you always felt a little bit off with your career, with your job, however many times you are trying to enjoy it fully, maybe you've been even smashing it if it comes to your KPIs and results and promotion, but yet you felt like something was off. The same with relationships. If you have friends, if you have people around you, they might be even the best people on the world, but if you feel like something is off, you need to surround yourself with more like-minded people. It is not a lack of your gratitude. It is just your soul calling you for more, calling you to go for all of your desires. If you ever felt like you don't have clarity, you just don't know how to move forward, what your next step is, what your goal is, but you keep daydreaming, you keep having all of those visions, how your life could look like, what is really that you would love, who is this version of yourself, how she behaves, where does she live, work, what is her bank account looking like. The only thing that keeps you away from living all of this dream life is shame. Because once someone told you that wanting more is bad, once someone told you those limiting beliefs that money is evil, that maybe it will change who you are, that the more successful you will be, the better career you're gonna have, the more visibility, you're gonna start treating people differently. While success, money, all of those abundance things are only multiplying who you already are. If you were already a bad person, maybe you weren't just verbalize it because you knew you had zero power before having money. That's why you kept your mouth shut instead of treating someone poorly. But the second someone gets money and they treat people poorly, it's only because they've been the same person before. It's not like something just brainwashing you immediately. If you work on your vessel, if you work on your energy, if you work on your self-development, your soul, nothing else can change you. Only you decide how you treat others. Only you desire and decide what you're gonna do with all of your success, with all of your abundance. Because whenever you want to be humble, whenever you tell yourself like you have this urge to be seen, you have this urge to create content, to be famous, to be visible, to do something more about your career, to build your personal brand, but then you keep yourself like cutting yourself off with the sentence that visibility is kind of bad because like why would you need fame? You can stay in your line, you can be kind of humble, but what change will you bring to the world without this visibility, without those resources? Imagine if you try to write a book and you feel like you want to be best-selling author and then you feel like but it's such a bad desire. Like, why would I want to be famous? Why would I want all of those flashy success? And imagine you reach this 1 million people through your book. It's probably bigger impact that you would only give it to your family and friends, and then maybe 3 people would end up reading that. The more your dreams are, the biggest your purpose is. And your desire will always come back to you. You can try to silence it off. You can just try to settle for the life you already have. But the more you're gonna settle, the more unsatisfied you're gonna be. Because it means you are disconnecting yourself from who you truly are, from what your purpose really is in this life. And you keep trying to settle, to people please everyone else, to live their vision that they have for you. And they are trying you and telling you that you should be happy where you already are. You should just forget. You shouldn't do those like cringe or weird things. You shouldn't like embarrass yourself by trying to do anything out of your comfort zone. The only embarrassing thing is judging everyone else while you are not doing a thing. The only cringe is when you start something new and nobody understands it. Because the second you are successful, the second it actually clicks, everyone is congratulating and they are telling you they've been supporting you all way along. The second you win in whatever it is that you want to win, people are trying you, how did you get there? Exactly this way. Just by putting yourself out there, just by following your soul calling, by your purpose, without shaming yourself, without like disconnecting yourself from who you are and what your desires are. Your desires are not something bad, but the more you're gonna go away from there, the more you're gonna shame yourself and lie to yourself, maybe like even with your career, that you only want to be rich, you only want to live in abundance because you're gonna give this money to charity, which is a beautiful goal, don't get me wrong. But if you know deep inside this is part of your goal, and another part of this goal is to, of course, also support your family and friends, but also to give just this good luxury lifestyle when you're comfortable, when you have freedom to decide whenever you're gonna do whatever you wanna do. And if you keep this part silent, it goes to your shadow, it goes to the part of yourself that you are so afraid to face. But why would you be afraid to face your own desires? Facing your desires is not also about like you immediately follow the craziest idea immediately, but it's walking you more closer to your destination. That's why whenever you have this urge, whenever you have this creative energy of creating something, and then immediately you self-reject yourself, immediately you put yourself in this shame space, and you feel like you tell yourself this stupid story that it won't work out, that it's not good enough, that you are not ready, who are you to speak about those things, you get all of this imposter syndrome. And again, what is imposter syndrome? It's shame. That someone like you shouldn't earn this amount of money, that someone like you shouldn't be visible, that someone like you shouldn't have this career because of course you didn't work hard enough for that. And this shame puts you back into your place. So it's easier for all the society as well, for all the like governments or whatever, not to be suspicious terrorists, but like this way you can basically control all of the society. Because you live in your shame, you don't live in your power, you don't live in your light, you don't speak your truth, you just stay somewhere playing it small because you've been taught that this is the way to do, this is the way to be, that being humble in the way of like never step in your highest self is the way to live your life. It can be the way to live your life in a massive regret, in regret of never trying things, in regret of never becoming the person who you've been meant and supposed to be, in regret of just never doing what you love regardless what everyone else around you is telling you. In all of those podcasts or books, when people ask, what do you regret in someone's last day of their life? They are not telling like, I regret actually shaming myself more and never show my talents. They say they regret caring about what everyone else is thinking instead of living their dream life. They say they regret not spending more time with friends, family, of course, having this freedom as well. But also, along the line, so often they are just saying they regret not trying, not just doing what they love. And you are programmed by society, by parents, by everyone, that you have to follow certain path of people pleaser, that you have to be this person who always meet expectations of everyone else. That's why you are as well so afraid of being seen, of being visible, and you put this shame. It's not only shame of kind of negative comments when you already do it, it's also about what if whatever you're trying to do, if it's, let's say, creating content, won't be seen by anyone. And it means you did such a bad content, it got already rejected before it kind of could be seen. And you keep yourself in this spiral that like, then it's not good enough. You can't stand showing up for yourself every single day, posting on social media for 30 likes and 100 views because it's too small. If you do things to get external validation, if all you wait is always to succeed in this external way, you launch certain program, nobody bought, so this is the failure. You post a video, the third time already, you tried again, and it still has like those 2 likes, you're stuck, that just doesn't work, and you give up, you self-reject, you are shameful of doing things even though you feel in your heart they are meant for you. Even though you feel it's your path, even though you feel you should be doing those things, you self-reject because you think it just didn't work out. Like you just posted 3 times, it didn't work out. You just launched this program, you spoke about it once, no one bought, so you failed. The only failure is to stop trying. The only difference from someone who is a winner and successful person and someone who is maybe not winning, to put it that way, is that this winner just never quit. Is that no matter how many failures, how many rejections, so-called just redirections, they faced, they would still go for it. And they would go for it until they see their results. And guess what? When they see those results, when they even get this external validation, whatever, they are just not sitting on the win of like, okay, I got it. Everyone loves my content now. No, you have to keep going. That was the whole point from the beginning. So if the goal is to keep going anyway, let's say you reach your goal, let's say your social media go viral, let's say your business is growing, will you then stop because you achieved your goal? No, you will keep going. Like that's the most obvious thing. You will be like, of course I will keep going because it's already working. So it's simply like work. So I have to continue. So why, like what's logic behind stopping before you're successful if the goal ultimately wasn't just to like do something once and stop, but to keep going and doing it consistency. Consistency is building your confidence. The more you do what you said you're gonna do, even those days when you don't feel like it, it is not about pushing yourself to the boundaries behind the feminine energy and like being all in masculine and non-stop hustle and grind and like prove your worth and get this exceptional validation again. Like, no. But you have to also stay true to yourself and to your goals. Because if you have this vision every single day in your heart that you want to be a certain type of person who, let's say again, create content, who shows up online, who speaks your truth, but you don't do it because sometimes you just don't feel like it, and then all the consistency goes to the trash, all of your motivation, you can skip sometimes something once, but you can skip your habit, your new task, your whatever your goal is twice in a row because it creates your new habit of actually skipping, of not being consistent. And it's not again of shaming yourself now for lack of consistency, no. But it's about stop being afraid what holds you back so strongly. If it's this visibility wounds, if it's just this fear of rejection, whatever it is, if it's your real desire, and that's why you can't face it. That's why you can't even speak about the most helpful, beautiful things in the world, because you have this little percentage of being selfish in your dreams. You want to help others with your business, of course, but you also want to help yourself. You just want to have a good life. And you're so ashamed of it that you just can't keep going. It's the same when people are so afraid of success that they won't even freaking start. Because they've been said that success is something that breaks your, family relationships, and you have all of those limiting beliefs. It's the same with like your vessel for like money and abundance. If you can't jump on another level, it's most likely not because you don't work hard enough. It's because of shame associated with this desire. So maybe you just saw so many times in your life someone being so extremely busy and, disconnected from their friends and family when they've been successful, when achieved their goal or financial freedom, that you associated it with something negative. So you stop started shaming this desire and stopped going for it, because of course you don't want this final goal. Even though you keep telling yourself on the surface this is what you want, deep inside you don't want it. So you have to do the inner work first. Reframe those limiting beliefs. Face this shadow part of yourself, of your life, and understand what is really there that you are so afraid of. Because whatever is part of you, you don't have to be afraid of yourself, okay? Any dream, any desire is only giving you direction, and you are the only one who gonna do something about this direction. You guys follow for more on TikTok and Instagram, which is Hello, it is Marta, and I see you in the next one. Bye!